Today, I bring you the summary of the 3 movies of the famous cartoon, The Fairly OddParents. So grab your snacks and let's begin with the summary. This movie begins by introducing us to our protagonist, a boy named Timmy Turner, who was celebrating his 23rd birthday that day. Even though he was already an adult, he refused to grow up because he preferred to keep playing with horse pajamas. But there was an explanation for this, and it all started when Timmy was little, and his parents left him in the care of an evil babysitter named Vicky, who made his life miserable, until destiny rewarded him by giving him 2 magical godparents named Cosmo and Wanda. They came from the magic world and had the mission of granting Timmy's wishes while respecting a complex rulebook. Then we meet the author of these rules, the muscular Jorgen, who is the most powerful being in the magic world. After congratulating Timmy, he reminds him that there are 3 rules to keep: not falling in love, not moving away, and not doing things that would mean he had matured. Otherwise, he would lose his magical godparents forever. On the other hand, Timmy's parents were fed up with him and took every opportunity, including his birthdays, to encourage him to move out or find a job. But Timmy refused to grow up to the point of repeating elementary school over and over again. In school, we see Mr. Crocker, Timmy's former wacky teacher. It turns out that when Crocker was little, he had Cosmo and Wanda as his magical godparents. But as he grew up, he lost them. Upon noticing that Timmy had magical godparents, Crocker becomes obsessed with catching them to prove to everyone that the magical world truly existed. One day, a girl appears in the city who catches Timmy's attention. When his godparents see this, they decide to intervene to prevent Timmy from losing them. They try to distract him by giving him a milkshake, but Timmy keeps his eyes on the girl. Then, a magnate arrives in the city who is determined to knock down an old tree and destroy the entire park because he wants to exploit an oil field located there. Although some citizens disagree, no one dares to contradict him. However, the brave girl confronts the magnate, telling him that nobody will destroy the park where she grew up for his dirty intentions. And while talking, we find out that it was actually Tootie, Timmy's former nerdy classmate, who stole his innocence years ago by kissing him for the first time. Then, Tootie shows that she was serious by chaining herself to the tree. Upon seeing her, the ruthless magnate orders his heavy machinery to run her over. Fortunately, Timmy and his magical godparents intervene, saving her and leaving the magnate in his underwear. Later, Timmy talks to Tootie, and when she affectionately hugs him, he pushes her away because he didn't want anyone to die or make him lose his magical godparents. Later, Crocker meets the magnate to explain that his machinery malfunctioned because of Timmy's magical godparents. Although this theory seemed crazy, the magnate ends up believing him and even gives him money to build a device capable of stealing their magic. That way, he could build his oil well. The next day, Timmy realizes that he is falling in love. When he sees that Tootie came to look for him, he runs away from his house like a scared rabbit. However, Tootie catches up with him and surprises him by asking him out. Surprisingly, Timmy ends up accepting, and when his magical godparents see that they have great chemistry, they transform into humans to join the party. However, Timmy scolds them, telling them not to interfere, so Cosmo and Wanda have no choice but to obey. Furthermore, Timmy asks them to restore the park to surprise Tootie, who is amazed when she sees it. Just as they are about to kiss, Timmy hears Wanda crying and jumps off the tree to prevent the kiss. Obviously, Tootie believes that this braggart is playing with her and leaves angrily without noticing that the miserable magnate was waiting to kidnap her. Upon seeing this, the godparents realize that it was all their fault, so they decide to let their little boy, Timmy, grow up. But before they can tell him anything, Crocker captures them. Then, Timmy learns that Tootie and his godparent had been kidnapped, so he rushes to rescue them. Now, Tootie was locked up in the magnate's lair, where Crocker managed to take away the magical powers of the godparents. After this, the evil magnate gets rid of the foolish Crocker to have full control over Cosmo and Wanda, who become weaker and weaker as they grant stupid wishes, such as giving him a mustache or making him incredibly buff. In the midst of this, Tootie escapes from her confinement, putting her life in danger. When Timmy appears, he manages to overcome his fears. And for the first time, this useless loaf does something on his own by defeating a powerful robot and saving Toyotes. Then, the magnate extracts the magic from the godparents to confront Timmy. When Timmy sees that this weakened them greatly, he decides to mature and puts aside his selfishness to kiss Tootie, freeing his godparents from granting any wish. Afterwards, Timmy says goodbye to them, promising to remember them forever. everything returns to normal, and the magnate has his powers taken away and is locked up in a psychiatric facility for claiming that magical creatures forced him to kidnap Tutai, a funny old man. Later, Timmy tells Tootie nostalgically that his godparents were his best friends. Just then, Jorgen appears to take them to the magic world, where the authorities decided that due to Timmy's sacrifice, he could keep his godparents. He had to fulfill the wishes of others, and Timmy regains his friends, with whom he would travel in a van around the world to fulfill people's desires. This excellent news makes the excited godparents' baby utter his first innocent words. In the meantime, at the North Pole, Santa and his elves were reading the list of good children who would receive gifts on Christmas, choosing to ignore the naughty list that a grumpy elf brought, which contained the names of misbehaving kids. But as Santa was looking at the list, some names started disappearing without the old chubby man understanding what was happening. It was then revealed that this was happening because Timmy and his friends were traveling and granting all sorts of wishes to big and small, even to the unhappy wrongdoers. How marvelous. Later, Crocker meets some of his students and tells them that he always received useless things like coal or women's handbags for Christmas. The kids respond to him saying that he was probably on Santa's naughty list. This makes Crocker wonder how to get there to remove his name. Just then, he discovers that Timmy has returned to the city and starts spying on him. He sees Timmy talking to two creatures who claim to be Santa's elves. It turns out that these elves have a bad history with the fairy godparents due to some past events. After arguing with them, the elves confront Timmy for interfering with Christmas. Since Timmy doesn't understand anything, they decide to take everyone to the North Pole, unaware that Crocker has managed to travel with them. Once there, they visit Santa's fantastic workshop, where Santa himself appears to welcome Timmy. Santa confesses that he still remembers when Timmy asked for a doll as a gift several years ago. After this, Santa scolds Timmy, asking him not to grant any more wishes with his fairy godparents, because unintentionally, he made people stop needing Santa, deteriorating the Christmas spirit. At that moment, a machine malfunctions, and when Timmy hears that Santa wants to fix it, the clueless Timmy ignores their conversation and asks his fairy godparents to fulfill his wish. However, as their magic is not compatible in the boss's world, things go out of control, causing Santa to fall into a machine that disorients him. The bewildered Santa starts believing he is the Easter Bunny. Then Jorgen appears to tell Timmy that since he messed everything up and there were only 2 days left until Christmas, Timmy must impersonate Santa. But when Timmy takes Santa's place, an alarmed elf reveals to him that he can't be Santa because his name is on the naughty list. The elves tell him that the only way to remove his name from the list is by going on a dangerous mission to the grumpy elf's house. Timmy seems determined to help them. Meanwhile, our protagonists set off in search of the elf, crossing dangerous broken candy bridges and falling down a snow mountain that is home to gigantic gingerbread men. Finally, they manage to reach the grumpy elf's house. There, they discover that Timmy is on the naughty list because he makes his fairy godparents grant wishes without thinking about the consequences. Additionally, the grumpy elf reveals that Timmy hurt Santa by trying to show off the power of his fairy godparents. Although Timmy apologizes, the grumpy elf discourages them all and kicks them out. However, I think Timmy gives a speech to encourage them to keep going, and upon hearing it, the grumpy elf is moved because Timmy managed to change his enemy's evil heart. So he removes Timmy from the naughty list and confesses that he couldn't remove the disgusting Crocker because he always blamed others for his flatulence. It's tough but fair. Afterward, they all return to the workshop where Timmy finally takes Santa's place. Upon seeing that production is behind schedule with only 1 hour left, Timmy motivates everyone by telling them to believe in themselves, which helps them finish on time. However, when they go to look for the reindeer, they discover that the evil Crocker had set them free, and they despair as the path to Earth begins to close. But Jorgen appears and tows them with his own van. Then, Timmy starts delivering the gifts, restoring the Christmas spirit to young and old alike. The next day, we see our protagonists at the North Pole, where Santa wakes up fully recovered to join in the celebration. The kind-hearted elves feel sorry for Crocker, who was not removed from the naughty list, and they give him his first gift, making him very happy. It was about time. Later, the elves thank the fairy godparents, letting go of their past resentments and making peace with them. We see Timmy and Tootie kissing. Some time passes and we see that Jorgen has employed Timmy in the magic world because he wanted to see him prove that he was a responsible adult. But obviously, Timmy didn't want to work, especially in the summer. Later, Timmy visits Tutti at her job and learns that she has to go to Hawaii to deliver a very important cure for dolphins. Timmy is disappointed because he thought they would spend their vacation together. Then, Timmy visits his parents to cheer himself up. But it's even worse because he finds out that they are also traveling to Hawaii with their company's staff, who gave them a generous check to plan all the fun. On the other hand, we see that an enemy of the fairy godparents named Foop is watching them closely because he has a mission to destroy them. When the disheartened Timmy returns to work, Jorgen informs him that he must replace him for a few days because he is going to a contest in Hawaii. Timmy's only task is to take care of the Abracadabra, which is the most powerful energy that sustains the magic world. However, Timmy doesn't know that the evil Foop overheard everything and plans to steal the Abracadabra. A few hours later, Timmy discovers that Tootie's boss swapped the dolphin cure with her lipstick. He also notices that his parents wrapped their food with the company's check. So he travels to Hawaii to deliver these items and decides to power Magic World with a backup energy source that would allow him to take the Abracadabra. Meanwhile, Crocker travels to Hawaii for therapy to help him forget his obsession with the fairy godparents. Unintentionally, he encounters Foop, who shares his desire to destroy Timmy and the magic world. Foop wastes no time and takes Crocker inside a volcano, explaining that the lava would come that night, and they could use it to destroy the Abracadabra and the magic world. This pair of bumbling villains starts searching for the Abracadabra, but can't seem to accomplish anything. On the other hand, Timmy saves the day for his parents by giving them their corporate check. Afterward, he rushes to Tutti to deliver the dolphin cure. However, instead of solving everything and returning to the magic world with the Abracadabra, this irresponsible decision maker decides to go on a trip with Tutti. Meanwhile, we see that Vicky is also in Hawaii, taking care of a couple of children, and she is still an evil babysitter, just as she was with Timmy. When she sees the infants, she feels sorry for them and decides to help them. Meanwhile, Foop and Crocker continue their attempts to seize the Abracadabra, but everything keeps going wrong for them. They disguise themselves to distract Timmy and Tutti, who are guarding the powerful object, and their plan succeeds as they take possession of the Abracadabra. Just at that moment, Jorgen appears upon seeing that the Abracadabra disappeared. He tells Timmy that the backup energy only lasts for 12 hours, and time is running out. Timmy and Tutti start searching for Crocker with the help of the children, while the fairy godparents split up to assist but, unfortunately, end up trapped in a refrigerator where they start losing their powers because the backup energy is running out. On the other hand, Crocker and Foop obtain a vehicle to go to the volcano. When the brave little ones discover them, they go after them. Once inside the volcano, they manage to activate the lava. Crocker grabs the Abracadabra to destroy it, but his heart betrays him. He has changed so much that he no longer wants to get rid of the magic world. Later, Tutti can't leave the children, who want to help, behind, so they enter the volcano to join the Crocker. However, the furious Foop hits a rock, leaving them floating above the lava. Meanwhile, Timmy manages to reunite with his fairy godparents, who have lost their powers as the magic world's energy is depleting. They go to the volcano, where the fairy godparents are unable to help their friends since the magic world is on the verge of collapsing, and they have no powers left. Timmy musters up courage and retrieves the Abracadabra. However, when he tries to rescue his friends, Foop regains possession of the Abracadabra, and both Timmy and Foop accidentally fall into the scorching lava. Witnessing this tragic scene, their friends lament the turn of events. Suddenly, the Abracadabra floats out of the lava, restoring the fairy godparents' powers. Additionally, Timmy reappears as a fairy godparent because his contact with the Abracadabra allowed him to absorb some of its power. Finally, Jorgen appears and informs Timmy that from now on, he will fulfill his wish to protect the little ones as their fairy godparent. The children jump with joy upon hearing this. They all then head to Timmy's father's party, where they end the night by dancing the hula. We see Vicky looking annoyed because she has been transformed into a cute bunny. Timmy dances with Tutti, who must now adjust to her beloved's new appearance. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.